Hello guys and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video I will be mounting a bottom shield on my bike. I made a video where I walked through the bike and I told you guys that the oil filter is right there and it's pretty exposed, and the bottom of the engine is too, and the exhaust pipes. So I bought this shield to cover those parts, so when I ride long trips and something comes up from the road, rocks and stuff, it doesn't break the oil filter or the bottom of the engine. Hopefully this cover will take it all, or most of the debris coming up from the asphalt. Alright, so the first thing we're going to be taking off the bike is the clamp for the hoses right here, the drain hoses. So that bolt right there, I think you can see it now. You'll have to take that off, and then you can take off the clamp behind it. So I'm just going to do that. Alright, so now I got the clamp off and the bolt. Good tip for you guys, or when you're disassembling the bike like this, keep these parts close by and sort them out so you can find them afterwards. Alright guys, so the next piece we're going to be installing is this piece. It's going to be going on this one right here. Besides the oil filter, it's going to go not on the bottom way up. It's got to go all the way from the top and down. And then you're going to be using the 6mm flange bolt from the way up to mount it on. Make sure that this tab right here gets in contact with the oil pan when you install it. It's more detailed in the manual, but just be aware of that, because that has an influence when you have to mount the shield on. But on top, and then the bolt from down. So I'm just gonna do that real quick. Alright, so now it's mounted on nice and tight. Alright, so next step is taking one of these well nuts and installing it in the hole right here on the first part we installed. So you're just gonna put this in right here like that. Alright, so the next piece we're gonna be installing is this piece. It's gonna go on the back of the footrest. Well, not the footrest, but the hole here where you took out the clamp for the hoses. So you're gonna put that on like this and reuse the bolt. So I'm just quickly gonna do that. Alright, so now it got mounted on. For your information, just keep remembering to the tab underneath here, it has to contact the bottom of this part, so just remember that, so this is in the right position. Alright, so the next piece we're going to be installing is this one. The way it goes on is it has a little bend in it, as you can see here. The bend or the curve goes towards the bike. Then you would have the long piece taking the this bolt up here, so we're going to be mounting it on like this. So I'm just going to do that. Alright, so now tighten the bolts. remember not to over tighten these. You don't want to ruin the threads in here. That's gonna cause very big issues. If you have a torque wrench, use it, but otherwise just tighten them a little bit. You don't want to over tighten this. So got the piece on, we can move on. What you're going to be doing next is taking the other weld nut in the set and popping it in like that. Alright, moving on. You got the left side of the undercowl right here. What you're going to be doing is you're going to be needing one of these clips and the dot that pops out a little. You can see right here. It pops out a little. That's gonna face the front, but otherwise you're just gonna slip it on. Like this, so it sits nice and tight. And then you're gonna be needing this rubber piece. I'm just gonna take it out of the packaging. This one right here. Be aware of there are two pieces. One is a bit bigger. We're gonna be needing that for the right side, so don't put that on this one. So you got this hold on the rear of the part, so you're just gonna, you can see it has a little groove in it, and that's gonna rest in this. So just gonna put that in. As you can see here. Oh, it's easier to put in from this side. Alright, so I think we got it in there nice and tight. So if you have a little trouble putting it in, you can boil some water, low heat, and then put the rubber in and let it sit there for a little, and it becomes more flexible. I mean, if it's cold at your place. But now this part is done, we can move on to the left part, which is basically the same thing. You got the hole in the rear here, where you're gonna be putting in the rubber fit, which is the large one. Right here, so just gonna do that. Like this. So now it sits there, and in the front, hidden down here, are the mount for the clip. So the way the clip is gonna go on, it's gonna go on like let me just see real quick. It's gonna go on like this, so you have the part that pops out facing the front again. So just gonna slip that on. Yep, so that right here. So now both undercowl parts are done, and we can move on. Alright guys, so the next thing we're gonna be doing is connecting both these pieces like this. With the way you're gonna be connecting them in the hole is a little pop pin that goes up from underneath. So I'm just gonna do that real quick. Like that. So now you have got them connected loosely. So now we can move on. Alright guys, so the next step is going to be mounting this part on the two undercowl parts. For this we're going to be needing a Allen key, which is size, let me see, yeah, again 5 millimeters. the way you're gonna be putting this on is like this, with this part facing the left side of the bike, but and then you're gonna be using these stepped 5mm screws, which goes on to from the back and catches the frets in the clips here. So I'm just gonna quickly do that. Make sure everything lines up around it so it sits nice and tight. Alright guys, so when you mount this on, to start with, you can see that this piece has some clips that goes in the holes here. So first of all, you're going to be aligning this piece with this. So clip it on and then mount the screws on. Alright guys, so now I got it on. You can see all the clips are in. Be very careful doing this so they don't break. They are very sensitive, so, but we got it all looking good. So now we're just gonna put the bolts in. Alright guys, so it's done and assembled. So now I guess we're just gonna put it on the bike. I'm just gonna check the manual real quick to be sure, but I don't think so. So let's move on. Alright, so the next step is gonna be installing these collars. You got two. One is a bit bigger than the other one. The small collar is gonna go on the right side, like this. So no, it's not gonna go on the right side, it's gonna go on the left side. So the small piece here, I'm gonna put that in here, and the rubber fit can be a little tight, but you'll get it in there like this. Whoops. So yeah, now it sits there, and then you got a bigger collar for the right side. So also gonna be putting that in from the inside and out, like that. So it sits there, nice. Now we can begin to mount the undercowl on the bike. Alright, so now we're going to be mounting the undercowl onto the bike. You're going to be using for the right side a 6mm bolt that comes with the set, and also one of the free 5mm that comes with the set. So first off, we're going to be using an Allen key for this, 5mm. I do recommend, if you have a set with a wrench, which these tops goes on, I do recommend using those. So it's much easier to mount it on, but you can use an Allen key. So the first bolt we're gonna be mounting on is the 6mm bolt, which goes on to this hole down here. So just gonna put it on loosely first, and then I'm gonna tighten it a little bit with my wrench. Not too tight, because we gotta get all the bolts in before we tie them all. right, and then we're gonna be taking this one, putting that in there, and then see if we can. Okay, that one doesn't work on that, so I'm gonna use my Allen key for that to screw this in. Right, so now it sits there loosely, and we're gonna move on to the left side. Alright, so moving on to the left side. The first thing you're gonna be doing is taking the drain tubes and putting them in the hole in the shield here that's made for them. So they fit nice there, like that. And then you're gonna take the two 5mm bolts and put them in these holes, so you got the shield mounted. I'm just gonna do that. Alright guys, so all the full mounting bolts on the Cowl now. What you're gonna be needing now is just to tighten them all up. So I'm just gonna do that, and I'm gonna be right back. Alright everybody, so now I got the Cowl on, looking really nice. So it's definitely more protection for the bike. I think it looks good on the bike too. It doesn't ruin the exhaust pipes, which looks really nice on this bike. One thing I maybe gonna do, I don't know yet, but you could definitely cut a bit of these drain hoses off so they're not so visible. You can tuck them a little bit more up. Otherwise, I think it gives a good look to the bike. So I'm gonna put the manual link down below, and of course a link for the Cowl. That's it for this video. See you in the next one.